So I've been asked the question, how do you manage it all? How do you balance being a wife, a mom, a homeschool mom at that, taking care of the house, in a lot of cases, either working a job or running a business or whatever the case may be? How do you do it all and give the right priority to everything every day? Here's my maybe not so profound, but incredibly honest answer. I don't. I don't have it all together, and I realized a long time ago that I don't have to have it all together. I don't have to give priority to every single thing every single day. There are things in life that will continue without my involvement. There are pieces of the puzzle that can be put in place later. I don't always have to do everything today. And I've learned to give myself a lot of grace, even though if I turned this camera around, you'd see how big of a mess my house is. And even though I've only got the meal plan done through this week, and that's a huge accomplishment for me, there are plenty of things that I'm not on top of. But let me just tell you how I approach it. And now I totally get it. Some of you are very organized and you are very able to stick to a predictable, planned out schedule, and you can run circles around me in that regard. But what I'm hearing from a lot of moms is that mom life sometimes is unpredictable. Homeschooling life is sometimes wildly unpredictable. The things that you plan to do don't always happen. Maybe it takes longer to cover some concepts and learning than you plan to, and it pushes the rest of your day out of schedule, So there's a lot of things that can come up that you don't anticipate, and in those situations, you've got to learn to give yourself grace. Here's how I approach my day. I have come to put the utmost priority on starting my day in time with God. Somehow, some way, some days look better than others. But when I get up in the morning, as soon as I've gotten out of bed and downstairs, the first thing that I'm going to do is make a cup of coffee and sit down and try to have some sort of focused time, praying, just spending time with the Lord, reading the Bible, reading another book that's really encouraging me in my spiritual walk with the Lord, whatever the case may be. I am going to give at least a few minutes, sometimes quite a bit longer, depending on the day and the demands of the day, to starting out that way. And then really, I usually end that time just saying, Holy Spirit, can we please do this day together? And I know his answer is always yes. I'd love to. Let's do that. And then I trust him to help me. He knows ahead of time. He knows what's going to come that day that I don't anticipate. He knows what's going to maybe throw me off a little bit. He knows what's going to go as planned. He knows what my productivity level is going to be by the end of the day. And he can help guide me through that. So I really lean into him and to the relationship with the Lord to help me navigate the day. Now, I don't particularly set a whole lot of scheduling throughout our homeschool day. Again, I know a lot of people who do, and it's wonderful. And if you can do that, that's great. I found that I was getting frustrated because I was putting so much time into scheduling everything out, and then as soon as it would change, the whole schedule would change and be thrown off. So I have tools for scheduling and for lesson planning and things like that. But really, I've gotten to where we do what we call an ultra block schedule. We've talked about that in some other videos. And the kids are able to kind of put their heads to the books and just go for it in what they know they need to get done. Now, when they're doing school that I don't have to necessarily be 100% face-to-face involved with, like their video courses, they have Rosetta Stone that we use for some foreign language exposure, things like that. When they're doing that, then I'm going to do what I can to take care of other things. This is where I say I don't try to do everything every day. This is where there may be one day that I spend that time, whatever that time looks like, doing meal planning or doing an online order for grocery shopping that we can pick up, or if we can get a decent deal on delivery, I'll maybe do a delivery order, something that'll just save us time and get food in the house so we don't spend too much money ordering food, right? Then there may be other days that I spend that time working on the business, working on wiser homeschool, working on products that I can make available to you, or video encouragement that I can put out there on YouTube. There may be other times that I use that time to get on top of our finances. I'll be reconciling accounts, our checking account, things like that, paying bills, whatever I've got to do. So I kind of just shift it around, in other words. So I maybe don't do everything every day. Some days laundry doesn't get touched, but I will tell you one thing that we have moved into, if this helps you out with laundry. Now that my youngest is about 8 years old, well, he is 8, but I think we started this kind of as he was getting towards 8 years old. We have the kids responsible for doing their own laundry. I mean, there's no reason they can't operate a washing machine at this point. They can operate a MacBook, an iPad, an iPhone, all of the video games and the television subscriptions. They know all of those things, right? They can operate a washing machine, a dryer, and a dishwasher. So I have it to where 1 day a week, each child is responsible for washing and drying his or her own clothes. They're supposed to be folding and putting them away as well. Still working on that. But anyway, that makes it to where I'm not doing laundry all week. My husband's not doing laundry all week. We do have to still keep some things going. We do our own laundry, we do the towels, but we don't, and even then the kids can help with that stuff. The towels, I mean. So it's not like it's all on me, you know? The more that we go through this, the more I'm looking for opportunities to give responsibility to the kids. You know, because let's face it, if they're contributing to the mess like they are, then we're going to teach them the responsibility of picking things up and trying to teach them to pick up after themselves. And, you know, I'm not always the greatest model of patience and grace. I try to give grace, but goodness gracious, if I didn't come downstairs the other day, nobody else was up yet except my husband. He had already gone to work and none of the kids were up. And I come downstairs and there's like cups all over the counter and trash, like wrappers. And I'm like, how do you open something and eat the thing and then just leave the wrapper on the counter? I don't understand. So anyway, there are things that we are working on. And if you find yourself in that position of we're still working on things, that's normal. That's life. And we're still training our children. We're still training ourselves how to stay on top of things. But to me, what I really want to encourage you in is don't put this pressure on yourself like you have to be on top of everything every day. You don't. You can balance the load across your week and not feel like everything that could have your attention demands it today. So if the laundry gets put in a basket and gets put on in a corner of the room for today, it'll still be there to fold tomorrow and we can make that happen. But I'm not going to stress out when I go to bed tonight because not everything got done. Now, I realize that a lot of that's personality and temperament, and I get that. And if some of you are cringing and you're saying, oh no, I could never do that, I understand. But the question was asked, how do I balance it all? And I'm just telling you, this is how I go about it and keep my sanity. Now, as far as the school day goes, I want to talk a little bit more about that, although I think we do cover this in other videos, so I won't spend a whole lot of time. But I really look for opportunities for the children to be independently led. They can be self-motivated, self-directed, or to work together with siblings, because I have 4 kids, and as much as I would love to sit there and teach each one of them individually, I can't. I don't have the time and ability to solely do that with each one in a curriculum type setting, which is what we follow. So in that case, it really works well sometimes to have them paired up, a younger one with an older one that can help them with a subject. And it's even gotten recently, it's kind of cute, and even though I know what they're doing, it's gotten really interesting lately that my youngest 2 are enjoying working together. And normally I would put one of the 2 of them with one of the older 2 because, you know, they're further along, they're already in high school, and they can definitely help the younger ones with their math and English and things like that. But they've gotten where these 2 younger ones like to work together now on reading or even on math or something. And I know what they're doing. My 3rd child is trying to get out of school. and he doesn't want to do his math, so he willingly volunteers to help his little brother with his math. But I still feel like it's productive, and I still feel like if he can teach or help his little brother understand fourth grade math, that's really going to fortify his skills anyway, even though he's in a higher level right now. So not only that, it helps build their bond. They're having time together. I think it's an all-around beautiful thing. We'll see how it goes, right? We've only been doing that for a few weeks here, but so far so good. And I hope it's still going to be a good arrangement for a while. But anyway, if you do have more than one child, I really encourage you to look for ways that they can work together. As I've said before, and you'll hear me say over and over, use video curriculum if that can be used to your advantage. Don't feel guilty about using a video with a certified teacher, expert in the subject, who can thoroughly explain a subject that you might not feel as confident explaining. There is no shame in that. There's nothing wrong with it. In fact, it might even be good that your child gets to hear another voice besides yours explaining some things, and it takes the pressure off of you, and it frees up some time for you to give to these other priorities that you do need to give attention to, just like I said, in different ways on different days, perhaps. I don't know if this has helped you. I've wanted to come into this not so much with like a 1, 2, 3 of this is how to manage your priorities, because I don't have that. I don't have a packaged set of rules for you to follow. I just wanted to give you some encouragement, some things to think about, and hopefully equip you to give yourself some grace as you move through this journey. Remember, with motherhood, parenthood, whatever season of life you're in, this is a season in terms of raising our kids. Once our kids are grown and once they are out on their own, life for you and me is going to be a lot different. So right now, if my schedule is pretty messy and pretty all up in the air and I'm juggling a whole bunch of things, I'm okay with it, because I'm okay embracing this season and reminding myself, and I'll remind you as well, don't undermine the importance and the significance of what you're doing with your children. Just being a parent, being present, being involved in their lives, teaching them, pouring yourself into them in whatever ways that happens, it's huge. And you are sowing really valuable seed for their futures. And you're going to see it bear good fruit in the long run. So even though the day-to-day may feel mundane and overwhelming, stick with it. And remember why you're doing this in the first place. Because our kids deserve better. I'll see you soon.